Welcome back, Don Hoots. I'm trying something a little bit different again this week, mostly because I actually found my little Bluetooth speaker, microphone thingy, audio, whatever device. So I'm gonna try it and see if it actually gets reasonably good sound. We'll see. So today, the sermon that I wanted to do kind of relates to the service that we're doing tomorrow, which I'm going to try and take video of. Again, I make no promises, but we'll see. I guess main point is the theme here is going to be very similar to the topic for tomorrow with the Lantern Festival. So those of you who are in the El Paso area, by all means, please feel free to come and join us. Lantern festivals tend to be a very interesting experience. And for those who are not in the El Paso area, like I said, I'm going to try and record it. No promises, but I'll try. But so the Lantern Festival, per se, comes really out of one apocryphal Chinese scripture, the Ulaanbaatar Sutra, which we know at the very earliest was a 6th century forgery, originally written in Chinese, back translated to Sanskrit, and then translated back to Chinese, and the results are interesting, but certainly apocryphal. But the main point in that one is that in that scripture, in that apocryphal scripture, the Buddha and Moggallana, one of his chief disciples, are having this discussion because Moggallana had used his supernatural powers, his supernatural ability to see into the different realms, and he saw that his mother was suffering in the hungry ghost realm, and he was kind of displeased with that. So he went to the Buddha and asked, well, how do we fix this? How do I get her out of there? Because I can't do it by myself, which is really kind of odd. He could do a whole lot of very special things. He was very capable spiritually. So he asked the Buddha, and the Buddha said, okay, this is what you do. On the 15th day, or the full moon day, of the 7th month, 7th lunar month, right? You make offerings to the monks who have just come out of their retreat, and that offering will produce enough merit to free her from her current condition. So, like any good son would do, he does, Moggallana does this, and his mother gets freed, and eventually goes off to rebirth in a different realm, where she can become a Buddha. Yay, good times, right? So, how does this relate to the Lantern Festival? Well, in China, this was essentially known as the Ghost Festival, right? So what you would do for those who had passed on is you would light a lantern in their memory. This was added to all of the things that you were supposed to do, all of the generosity that you were supposed to give to the monks and nuns who had just gotten out of their rainy season retreat or their retreat, right? So you would light this lantern, and in different parts of the Chinese cultural sphere, this manifested in different ways. In China, it was usually air lanterns, or the ones that you see in silly movies. You saw it in the Great Wall movie, that one with Matt Damon, and that nobody likes to talk about because it was so-so. You saw it in Tangled, again. But there's another way to do that too, right? And the other way to do this was the way that they did it in Japan, which relied on water, because water was a symbol for washing away the old, bringing in the new, right? Bringing in a clean new slate. And so when you have these various traditions, and my home temple tends to do the water-based lantern floating. We even do a version of it during Memorial Day in Hawaii, right? So those of you who have been to Hawaii and have seen that, That's my home temple, and it's a giant, giant thing with like 50,000 people on the beach. I kid you not. They sit there and do these counts, and they're like, okay, that's how many people is here. But so I tend to do this every year. I tend to stick more towards what the Apocryphal Scripture says, which is the 8th or the 15th day, the full moon day of the 7th lunar month, which happens this year to be right now, August 25th. Because I'm probably going to upload this tomorrow. I'm way too tired to upload it today. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow, and we're going to be doing these lanterns. But I thought this would be a really great opportunity for us to go over some of the Buddha's thoughts on why beings go to these various realms, right? And so the text that I'm going to be going off of, other than obviously the aforementioned Ullambana Sutra, comes to us from the Majjhima Nikaya, the Salayyaka Sutta, where he's telling this householder's like, well, how do we know where we're going to go when we die? And the Buddha looked at him kind of funny and said, well, this is how. Right? Because this isn't something that the Buddha is concerned with. He's not going to be reborn. He's already hit that stage where he's not coming back. But it is a concern to the lady, it is a concern to these householders, and so he answers the question regardless. And what he says is very long. I'm not going to read all of it because it is about 44 paragraphs. And I'm not going to bore you to death with all of that. So, spoiler alert, this is going to be the short version, and I'm just going to go over the basics. Second, spoiler alert, it, as with so many things in Buddhism, it really revolves around conduct. What you do matters, right? It doesn't have any bearing on where you came from, who your family was, blah, 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 blah. What matters is what you do. As with so many other things that the Buddha talked about, right? So the whole piece here is that we have the opportunity to take what we do and to start doing what the Buddha calls righteous bodily conduct, righteous verbal conduct, righteous mental conduct, right? And we have the ability to get rid of or to stop doing those items which are unrighteous or not beneficial. So let's go over what these types of conduct are. Right? So the Buddha says, householders, there are these 3 kinds of unrighteous bodily conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. There are 4 kinds of unrighteous verbal conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. There are 3 kinds of unrighteous mental conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. I'm going to go through all of these individually, but know that all of these have a little bit more depth than I'm going to give them, simply because the Buddha went into that kind of depth. But essentially what the Buddha said here is there are the 3 kinds of unrighteous bodily conduct that are not in accordance with the Dhamma are breaking the 5 precepts, specifically, and this is for bodily actions, this is specific. He goes into 3 of them, namely killing beings, being murderous, bloody-handed, all that kind of jazz. So killing is obviously one. Taking what is not given, that's another bodily act that is unrighteous, that will cause problems. And sexual misconduct. And again, here we're doing exactly the same definition of what that is as we did last week. For those who weren't here last week, I'll go over it again just to kind of have an idea, right? Actually, you know what? I'm just going to read this whole paragraph because this one and the next one and the one after that kind of matter, right? So get ready for a little bit of the Buddha talking. And householders are there three kinds of unrighteous bodily conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. Here someone kills living beings. He is murderous, bloody-handed, given to blows and violence, merciless to living beings. 1. He takes what is not given. He takes by way of theft the wealth and property of others in the village or forest. 2. He commits sexual misconduct. He has intercourse with women who are protected by their mother and father, brother, sister, or relatives, who have a husband, who are protected by law, and even with those who are already engaged. That is how there are three kinds of unrighteous bodily conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. That's all three. And how householders are there four kinds of unrighteous verbal conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. Here, someone speaks falsehood. When summoned to a court, or to a meeting, or to his relative's presence, or to his guild, or to the royal family's presence, and questioned as a witness thus, "So, good man, tell us what you know." Not knowing, he says, "I know." Or knowing, he says, "I do not know." Not seeing, he says, "I see." Or seeing, he says, "I do not see." In full awareness, he speaks falsehood for his own ends, or for another's ends, or for some trifling worldly end. He speaks maliciously. He repeats what he has heard here in order to divide those people from these, and he repeats to these people what he has heard elsewhere in order to divide these people from those. Thus he is one who divides those who are united, a creator of divisions, who enjoys discord, rejoices in discord, delights in discord, a speaker of words that create discord. He speaks harshly. There's actually number 3, and I made a mistake there. He utters such words as are rough, hard, hurtful to others, offensive to others, bordering on anger, not conducive to concentration. He engages in idle chatter. He speaks at the wrong time, speaks what is not fact, speaks what is useless, speaks contrary to the Dhamma and the discipline. At the wrong time, he speaks such words as are worthless, unreasonable, immoderate, and unbeneficial. That is how there are 4 kinds of unrighteous verbal conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. And how householders are there 3 kinds of unrighteous mental conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. Here, someone is covetous. He covets the wealth and property of others thus, "Oh, may what belongs to another be mine," or he has a mind of ill will and intentions and hate thus. "May these beings be slain and slaughtered, may they be cut off, perish, or be annihilated." Or he has wrong, distorted vision thus, "There is nothing given, nothing offered, nothing sacrificed, no fruit or result of good and bad actions, no this world, no other world, no mother, no father, no beings who were born spontaneously, no good and virtuous ascetics and Brahmins in the world who have themselves realized by direct knowledge and declare this world and the other world." That is how there are 3 kinds of unrighteous mental conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. So, householders, it is by reason of such unrighteous conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma, that some beings here on the breakup of the body after death are reborn in a state of misery, in a bad destination, in the lower world, in hell, right? So there's your answer as to exactly how people got there. And we saw this again in the apocryphal Moggallana Sutta, or Sutra, where the reason why Moggallana's mother was in hell was because she had slandered monks, she had tried to kill monks, she had been basically just a bad actor, right? She had done bad things. That's why she was there. She had violated pretty much all of these in one way or form or fashion. That's why she was there in the Hungry Ghost realm. Particularly because she was extra greedy, and that was her motivation, right? So kind of we see this as a cautionary tale, right? Greed is something that we try to get rid of all the time anyway. But that gives us one extra reason, because the Hungry Ghost realm, for those who are not tracking the kind of worldview that the Buddha brought with him and came out of, The Hungry Ghost realm is a fun, lovely realm where beings have tiny, tiny, tiny little mouths that can only fit 1 grain of rice or 1 drop of water at a time, and giant bellies that are never full. Do you want to go there? I sure don't. So, don't want to go there? Don't be greedy. Simple as that. Right? Don't do these silly, these terrible things that would lead you there. Is it really that hard to do all of that? Is it really that hard to step away from those actions that the Buddha is talking about in the unrighteous conduct? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think we have the capacity within our minds, within ourselves, to stop and say, yeah, that's not a good idea. How about we not do that, right? So when somebody comes up and is like, oh, hey, why don't we go steal this? Or, oh, hey, why don't we go beat this guy? Or, oh, hey, why don't we go do, talk some smack about these people? The right answer there is, how about no? Right? And that's not hard. It just requires the willpower to say, yeah, that's wrong, I'm not interested. I'm not going to do it. And then don't do it. Right? But on the other end of the spectrum, what do we have, right? So we've gone through the unrighteous conduct. Let's go through the righteous conduct that the Buddha is talking about, the good stuff. These are the things that the Buddha wants us to do. That the Buddha is saying, this is going to lead to good things. Do this, right? Because this leads to good things, this is what you should do. That kind of stuff. So, householders, there are 3 kinds of righteous bodily conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. There are 4 kinds of righteous verbal conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. There are 3 kinds of righteous mental conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. Here we see a direct mirror, right? And how householders are there 3 kinds of righteous bodily conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. Here, someone abandoning the destruction of life abstains from the destruction of life. With rod and weapon laid aside, conscientious, merciful, he dwells compassionate to all living beings. Abandoning the taking of what is not given, he abstains from taking what is not given. He does not take, by way of theft, the wealth and property of others in the village or in the forest. Abandoning sexual misconduct, he abstains from sexual misconduct. He does not have intercourse with women. And for those females out there, or for those who are somewheres on the LGBT spectrum, substitute your own preference here, or substitute your own your own orientation here. Sorry, my brain is still not fully functional after last week and this week. Try to remember those words and they just aren't coming. Sorry about that. So, again, posit your own orientation here. I'm not going to judge, and I'm not going to be all, this is the only way, right? This is just the way the Buddha phrased it. Could it be otherwise? Sure, absolutely, without question, right? So, abandoning sexual misconduct, he abstains from sexual misconduct. He does not have intercourse with women who are protected by their mother and father, brothers, sisters, relatives, who have a husband, who are protected by law, or with those already engaged. That is how there are 3 kinds of righteous bodily conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. And how householders are there 4 kinds of righteous verbal conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. Right? Here's someone abandoning false speech, abstains from false speech. When summoned to a court or meeting for relatives' presence or his guild or the royal family's presence, and the question is a witness, thus, so good man, tell us what you know. Not knowing, he says, I don't know. Or knowing, he says, I know. Not seeing, he says, I don't see. Or seeing, he says, I see. He does not, in full awareness, speak falsehood for his own ends, for another's ends, or for some trifling worldly end. Abandoning malicious speech, he abstains from malicious speech. He does not repeat elsewhere what he has heard here in order to divide those people from these, nor does he repeat to these people what he has heard elsewhere in order to divide these people from those. Thus he is one who reunites those who are divided, a promoter of friendships, who enjoys concord, rejoices in concord, delights in concord, a speaker of words that promote concord. This can be done. It really can. Abandoning harsh speech, he abstains from harsh speech. He speaks such words as are gentle, pleasing to the ear, and lovable, as go to the heart, are courteous, desired by many, and agreeable to many. Abandoning idle chatter, he abstains from idle chatter. He speaks at the right time, speaks what is fact, speaks on what is good, speaks on the dumb and the discipline. At the right time he speaks such words as are worth recording, reasonable, moderate, and beneficial. That is how there are 4 kinds of righteous verbal conduct. Conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. And how, householders, are there 3 kinds of righteous mental conduct. Conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. Here someone is not covetous. He does not covet the wealth and property of others, thus, oh, may what belongs to others be mine. His mind is without ill will. He has intentions free from hate, thus. May these beings be free from enmity, affliction, and anxiety. May they live happily. And we saw this. This is also, the Buddha reiterated this in the Karaniya Metta Sutta, which we went over a little bit ago. Do go back and watch that one in its entirety. Other than, watching me be an ass, making an ass of myself. It brings out a really good message. It brings out a really important message, right? So, he has right view, undistorted vision thus. There is what is given and what is offered and what is sacrificed. There is fruit and result of goodness, good and bad actions. There is this world and the other world. There is mother and father. There are beings who are reborn spontaneously. There are good and virtuous ascetics and Brahmins in the world who have themselves realized by direct knowledge and declared this world and the other world. That is how there are 3 kinds of righteous mental conduct. Conduct in accordance with the Dhamma. So, householders, it is by reason of such righteous conduct, such conduct in accordance with the Dhamma, that some beings here on the breakup of the body after death are reborn in a good destination, even in the heavenly world. Who doesn't want that? Right? Who doesn't want to have good things happen to them? Pretty much nobody, right? So the Buddha is laying it out here. Don't do bad stuff, do good stuff. In a very, very simple version, this comes out to us, again, in other Buddhist scriptures. And my brain is spazzing it right now. I apologize. If I remember it, I'll put it in the comments. But what in the world? There's a car driving on the rocks outside the chapel. And I don't know what to make of it. Sorry about that. Squirrel. Where were we? Oh yeah, the simple way that the Buddha phrases, I think it was the Itivuttaka Sutta, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that one. The simple way that he phrased it is, but the teaching of the Buddha is simple. Cease to do evil, learn to do good, and purify your mind. Right? He's going into all kinds of great detail here. But it really boils down, if we're really being good and honest, it really does boil down to that very simple thing. Don't do bad things, do good things, keep working on yourself. Right? Cease to do evil, learn to do good, purify the mind. Painless. Well, sometimes easier said than done. Got it. But it should be painless. It should be fairly painless because this is not hard stuff. It's not particularly challenging, right? Don't do the wrong things. Do the right things. And keep working on yourself, right? Can any of you not do this? I don't think so. I think all of you are capable. I think every single one of you knows what you're doing and can do this. I don't think it's a challenge. I think it's pretty good and simple. And I think we should do that, right? Because that is A, going to lead to good things, B, the right thing to do, and C, exactly what the Buddha explained that we should be doing, right? There's nothing in there that really isn't doable, that's so hard that it's impossible. All of this is possible. We can do it, and we should. I'm gonna leave it at that. Dhamma Boots, thank you for watching. Dhamma Boots, salute.